Hello, it's Soul back with some more Shadowlands coverage, and today I'm going to cover the Heart of the Forest. I believe that's what it's called. Heart of the Forest? Yes, Heart of the Forest. This is the Covenant Sanctum of the Night Fae. Now, I also happen to discover a little bit of how covenants are going to work, or at least this is what I'm going to speculate on very shortly, but in the meantime, we're going to go into what I'm going to call the public area of the Covenant Sanctum. Basically, the place where everyone will be able to go through, so that way they can access all the different amenities of Ardenweald without having to go into the Covenant Sanctum if you happen to not sign up with this covenant. Now, of course, I do apologize about some of the capture quality here. There's some weird buggy stuff going on with the alpha lately. But over here we can see the quartermaster, and we can see that throughout this area, this is considered as, like I said, the public area with all the different amenities that you would normally need to check out, like kind of a main capital-ish kind of city, at least for this particular zone. Most of the impressiveness of this covenant just comes from just how it looks. This is an amazing looking skybox, and overall it just looks fantastic. I mean, this place is easily as visually impressive as Bastion, even more so. I guess it's just really a matter of taste, what you happen to prefer. The Heart of the Forest is located in pretty much the center of the zone. You can see my icon right there in the center, and right there, here's this giant tree. Getting here is pretty accessible. You just need to take a main road, and then of course there are flight points. I think I passed by one who is right over there, and then there is another one who was actually inside the Covenant Sanctum for people who would join this covenant. Now, the reason why I'm talking about, or at least I'm making a difference between people who can and can't go inside is, well, because literally, if you're not a part of this covenant, you just can't go inside. Here, let me try to go inside, and ta-da, I get teleported right out. And even if I try to enter from this side entrance right over here so I can look at some stuff, I just get teleported back. Now, granted, I gotta say this is the alpha, and everything is subject to change, but I'm guesstimating that because I didn't do any of the questing that led up to my ability to even go inside this covenant, that one, I just can't go in, but two, later on, once I get to max level, I won't be able to re-enter this covenant. So as we quest through Ardenweald and Bastion, Maldraxxus, and Revendreth, we'll be able to visit these Covenant Sanctums for the first time. And at the same time, we can use the different powers that are available and everything. However, once we choose a Covenant, then we're going to be locked out. So if I were to choose anyone but the Night Fae, I'm never going to be able to go inside these Covenant Sanctums with these characters. It's not different at all from not being able to enter any of the other class halls with a character that is not of that particular class. It's pretty much the same difference. So out here we have this public area with all sorts of stuff outside, everything that we need. And then there's the inside, which normal people just can't go inside. However, there's a certain bug in the alpha right now that prevents questing very far at all. There's a certain bug that just kind of messes with characters, so normally we won't be able to go inside. However, I am playing on a shaman right now, and I'll be able to use Farsight to get inside and explore the other parts of this Covenant Sanctum, including the location of the Winter Queen. So let's kind of start going inside. So here's the center area, and you can see, let me actually back up a little bit. You can see there's a big kind of, I don't know what this is, center decoration. I have a feeling that this is going to have some pretty big lore significance as to, interacting with it, or it's going to have us do something, because right above it is this, I don't know if I should call it like this structure. It's an egg of some sort. That is where the Winter Queen resides. Don't know why, don't know the context of it, but that is simply what's going on. So let's move a little bit closer here. So we can see here that there is another innkeeper that lets you set your home. That lets you set this Covenant Sanctum as your home should you choose to. So I wonder if there's going to be a weird bug that you can set where you can set your innkeeper as your home, but then later choose Revendreth as your chosen covenant. What's going to happen when you hearth? Probably something that Blizzard had thought of, but we'll just have to see. So let's go off to this side over here. and resume our bit of exploration. So we're going to go outside to that area that we weren't able to explore. And we see, like, I guess these are just like soldiers and stuff that are training. Check it out, future allied race. Yep, maybe not. But it seems to be like some sort of training ground. You can see here that there are some cool looking target dummies right over here. These are really neat looking. See, way better than those janky little wooden goblin target dummies. These things look pretty beast. Really cool. Really thick. In a good way, you know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be much of anything else that's out here. Let's actually go to this fountain right over here and see if this has any sort of significance. It's just a pretty looking fountain. There's so many things in this zone that you can simply just set your max quality and just take a look at it, take some screenshots, and hey, check it out. We have a cool little environment. I mean, just looking up is amazing unto itself. So let me back out of this, go back here, and then resume looking at the inside. Let's go to this side over here. So there is this little bit of it. So here's another quartermaster right on the side here. I'm presuming that this might be a Covenant specific kind of quartermaster, not simply the Night Fae quartermaster that's outside. And we know with relative certainty that there's going to be a Night Fae sort of reputation that anyone will have access to. So let's go to this outdoor area here. So this ledge is pretty much the flight deck for the Night Fae Covenant people. You can see that there is a flight master right over here, and some cool little moth creature things. Those are going to be your little taxi mounts. And then we have Bloodwind, the envoy of the Queen, who I have no idea who that is in particular. But now let's try to sneak our way over to this other side here. So here we see what I had at first thought was the weekly chest, and ever since we previewed Oribos, I have been proven absolutely wrong. It is not the weekly chest. This chest here, or this object, is meant to be like the Covenant tree editing. Basically, it's where we can edit our Covenant, rank it up, and do things with it. Not entirely sure what we can do with it, but well, it's stuff. So let's go to this other side here. So this is a back entrance, just another way into the Covenant from out there. I'm sure that during our questing we'll be able to visit this area multiple times. But now let's go a little bit underground, slightly, just slightly. So, and it's right over here. So this object in the center here, this is it's a feature that we don't quite know about yet, but there is going to be a way that we can divert anima into the different kinds, into the different zones. Of course, this is something that is inside the Covenant Sanctum, so it's not something that you'll have to do for every single Covenant, but you just interact with this and supposedly divert anima from here over to the other zones. That's just kind of the guess right now. Now, the one thing that I wasn't able to find while exploring this Covenant Sanctum was the mission table, and at first I had thought that it was this, because this has this table-like tree stump has a very unique texture, seems kind of neat. Standing next to it is this person. Can we see the name? Zahad, the Queen's Architect. However, when mousing over, it doesn't really do anything, so I can't say for certain, excuse me, if this is in fact going to be the mission table. And if we go to the other side here, slowly, you can see that there is a kind of a circle that's made out of this fungi here. So for all we know, the mission table is going to be located here instead, and the texture that it's supposed to be, it's just not ready, or it's not done, or it's just not there yet. But now, let's take a look and see if I can make my way to the Winter Queen's Sanctum all the way up here. It's gonna take a little bit of finagling here, so let's see if I can figure it out. Alright, with a little bit of finagling, as I said, I was able to get into this A very small structure here, which is pretty much the throne room of the Winter Queen. Although is it a throne? I'm not entirely sure. We can call it a throne, we can call it a prison of sorts. Right here we have this attendant who is, I guess, the Queen's audience chamber staff, so I guess that's a certain NPC that can kind of come and go as they please, and yeah, I would allege that, you know, we're able to come here ourselves, but we just don't quite know how to get here on our own, at least not yet. I'm sure the questing will allow us to do so. Let me see if I can get like a nice center shot. Here we go, the Winter Queen in all of its majesty. And it's definitely a boss. You can see that that has the skull on its head, has 6 million health. And just as context, there's a world boss that I found around here that has approximately 3 million health. And, you know, so take that into consideration. But this is the Winter Queen's house, throne room, whatever you want to call it, in all of its glory. Let me back up just a little bit. Sorry, Winter Queen, don't want to offend. So not bad. This is a really cool spot. I mean, just check out the inside. It's like everything outside is very forestry, with a little bit of a celestial feel to it. Here is no different, although here we like see these nighttime stars, and it looks cool. This is like a total dream trip here. So let me back out of this, kind of make our way a little bit outside. So this is the heart of the forest. This is the Covenant Sanctum of the Night Fae. So I'd love for you to share your thoughts in a comment below to let me know what you think of this particular area. How pretty is it? Is this a place that you just can't wait to burn down to the ground because you're Maldraxxus all the way, or what? So like I said, let me know your thoughts in a comment below, and stay tuned for more Shadowlands coverage. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video if you enjoyed yourself, and we'll see you for the next thing that I do. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.